I keep forgetting us. Squeeze in. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Live on Instagram, live on Facebook. I always say like I'm surprised.
Oh my gosh, it worked.
It worked. Here we are.
Technology. It's amazing.
It's so cool. Well, welcome, everybody. I'm Dean Nixon with TurningLeaf Wellness Center in sunny St. George with Kate Semmens.
Yes.
The wonderful, wonderful, great Kate. So it's exciting to get back, and we've had such wonderful feedback, and thank you for the comments and those that are sharing with us and talking. I love like walking just everywhere, and people are like, hey, I'm seeing your lives.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's so helpful. And a lot of the feedback that we're getting away from the social media venue, which has been really cool. And especially some of the topics we've been going over, that they're getting the feedback or the nutrition beyond
yes,
just here. And that's what we really want to do. So
is continue that. Just keep the ripple effect of it, right?
yes,
Yeah.
Keep the ripple effect going. So today
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to talk about, we thought would be a great topic to spend some time today and talk a little bit about coping skills and how to build the coping skills for teens.
Mm-hmm.
One of the topics I'm hearing like one of the buzzwords that's going around, resilience.
Yep. It's a fun word, I think.
Well, it rolls off the tongue. Resilience.
So Dean and I were just talking, and we're like, we've gone over like as a parent how to cope with our teens, you know,
Yep.
like and different things to do that parenting wise, but we haven't talked really about being a teen and how to cope.
Right. Yeah.
So, but as you were saying with resiliency,
Yes.
right? So I guess in my mind, the definition of how to be resilient is like when you just fall on your face in life. Resiliency is that pick back up.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
The ability to bounce back,
Right.
or the ability to overcome or push through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times that's hard, especially as a teenager with the teenage experience and the level of the teenager. Sometimes it's hard. And those of you that you know, and I know our demographic on Facebook is more older people.
Mm-hmm.
My younger kids always tell me, Facebook's for old people. So all those of you on Instagram, our younger viewers,
Shout it out.
shout it out. That's some street right there.
I try to be hip.
You're so hip.
Thanks.
I don't even try anymore. But it's one of those things that as a teen or as an adult, it's really resilience applies to everybody. One of the differences between teens and adults is that our perspective of life is a little bit shorter when we're teens.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have as much experience of bouncing back. So our fall, when we fall, becomes a little bit more devastating. Also, the repercussions of our fall nowadays is just a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
If we fall, people know. It's all over social media. It's all over exposed. It's for everybody to see, which makes it a little bit more important for you to be more resilient and be able
Right.
to have a thicker skin, so to speak, and being able to really endure.
Right. And so then the key would be to be able to cultivate your coping skills,
Yep.
to be able to have that bounce back happen more quickly.
Yes.
And I mean, I think we hear about it all the time, like in the news, in the media, and all sorts of things, just about how really difficult it is to be a kid these days.
Yes.
Like even, I don't feel like I'm that far off from this last generation.
You are. You're a youngster.
I'm just a puppy.
Yeah.
So, but even just from when I was going through high school and middle school to now, like it's just the world is vastly different. And the kinds of social pressures and things that our young ones are facing super young, it's amazing, really.
It is.
And so to be able to get teens, especially, I think the tools in their hands, and to be able to use those coping skills, bounce back with resilience, and then be able to just increase their life experience about it, right? So like
Right.
you were saying, like sometimes we feel like kids are just miniature adults,
Right.
when they're not. They haven't lived as long as we have. They haven't experienced falls and pickups and heartbreaks and everything else that goes along with being part of a human. So when they crash, it's like huge.
Yes.
So being able to help them understand that and give them the coping skills, I think, is imperative, which is why we're talking about it.
That's why we're talking about it. Yeah, and that ability as a youth, you know, it's we have this hypersensitivity that we create anyway as human beings, but as the world is now a lot more observant, like we the transparency of our lives, everything we do, especially as young people, is turned into video. It's turned into feed. It's turned into Twitter. It's turned into all this exposure, and that exposure gives people, and this is the part that it's important for the youth to understand, is the more opportunity that you give people to verbalize how they feel about you, so the more venues you expose yourself to, the more you've got to be prepared that some people aren't going to like what you do. Some people aren't going to say things. Some people are going to express feelings. And the frustration with that is that because they're on the other side of the glass window, so to speak, it feels safer to be mean or to be cruel, or as they may say, blunt or verbal, or, you know, brutally honest. And so for us, we have to recognize, okay, if I'm putting myself out there in that venue, I need to be prepared to understand that the things that they're saying aren't always personal. The things that they're saying aren't always true. The things that they're saying are actually more of a reflection of how they feel about themselves and what's going on in their world than it is about you and what you're posting out there. So if I put a post out there about my summer on the beach, and everybody's commenting about how I look in my board shorts, because that's what I would wear. And, I have to be okay with the comments that are coming, and I need to be able to be resilient to that and to not personalize things that aren't personal.
So would that then be, as you're working with teens, like in life coaching and stuff like that, would that be like one of the first coping skills that you would try to work with them on, is being able to like filter out that hate speech and not let it affect them?
Yes, because we tend to, and one of the coping skills that we talk about, and we were talking about it in the book, The Key. Oh, hello, Janet, right?
Yeah, and
yes,
Casey.
And Casey, and quite a few that have joined us. Hello, it's good to see you. Yes, and the coping skill in the Key that we talked about last,
right?
We were talking about a couple of the coping skills. One of them that we have to be careful of is evidence. We tend to go out and we tend to gather evidence about all the things that we don't like about ourselves, or all the things that are wrong with us. And we use that evidence to convict ourselves of not being good enough.
Right.
The problem that we have is that if I'm posting things on social media, if I'm putting myself out there, then people's response, I may use that as evidence instead of recognizing, no, this is just about them. This is the space that they're in. This is what's going on inside of them. They're just verbalizing it through the glass window, so to speak.
And that, I mean, that's hard enough to do as an adult.
Very hard, right? As an adult, yes.
Let alone as a teen or younger.
Yeah.
Like, we both work with kids.
Yep.
Like, I've got like 8-year-olds that are like all into the Snapchat and on the Instagram and stuff with people that I work with. And don't let your little ones get on that stuff, please. But yeah, that's hard to do as an adult. So then how do we, I guess is the most correct way to say that, help them learn that?
First, we have to interact. If we're coming from a parent's standpoint, or even if you're a teen watching and you've got friends that are engaged, because some of you are like, I'm concerned about my friend. I'm concerned that my friend is feeding into this or getting too much of their value from that. So what I would say is that the most important thing for us as parents and as friends and family members is to get involved in what's going on with the social media that they're involved in. So the more that I can see and talk and be aware of what's going on with my own children and what's going on in their social media life, and that's the way we've got to look at it as parents, as family and friends. Your friend has a personal life, like this is like you're here. This is you and real. Me. But then I also have a social media life. And so they're two aspects of who we are, and we need to be involved in those lives to be able to help them and to help decipher that feedback. One of the things that can be very helpful as a teen with a friend or even with ourselves or a family member, is to sit down and go, okay, well, let's go through our evidence. What evidence are you gathering from this social media exposure? Are you gathering all that negative chatter, or are you looking at the positive that's coming out of it? Are you looking at those pieces and recognizing that regardless of whether they're saying great things or negative things, it doesn't change who you are, that you're still a wonderful and amazing, human being?
Right. Mm-hmm. So that's a really great coping skill to use.
Yes.
So then my mind, the place my mind goes next is, as a teen, how can we build more resiliency in that positive evidence that we gather, so that we have more self-value, right? Like we can start to work on valuing us because of who we are and not what everybody else tells us that we are. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes. And I would say, and this is a scary concept, the first thing we can do for resiliency as youth and adults is put the phone down.
Yes. Put
the phone down, walk away, and go interact with a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is that we become more isolatory. And a lot of you that are watching this, and even some of the youth out there that are watching it, you recognize how much more isolatory we're becoming because of the glass window people are looking through into our lives. And so we're more apt to hide, we're more apt to recluse, we're more apt to shut down and put ourselves away. For example, if I put myself out there on social media and get a ton of negative response, then I'm apt to just shut down for a period of time and get really depressed and really hurt and really, really down on myself. And so instead of putting that instead of allowing myself to do that, I need to put the phone down and go out and interact and use that evidence of all the people in my life that want me there, that want to interact with me, that want to engage. And go out and ride your longboard, go out and go snowboarding, go out and go surfing, go out and hike, and do things with people that love you and care about you.
Go to the football game.
Go to the football game tonight. And so all of those things that you can do, those build resiliency, because you can refocus, which is another one of our coping skills, is focus. And when I can refocus my energy and I can take it from, oh, these are all the things I don't like, and these are all the things that are going on, and I stay stuck behind that glass window, just scrolling, I put it down. I go out and I engage, I get involved, and it gives me that ability to be more resilient.
So we've talked about evidence.
Yep.
We've talked about focus, and then just that idea of just go connect, right?
Yeah.
Like go actually physically be in the presence of another person.
Stop isolating. We got to stop isolating ourselves, because when we isolate ourselves, we're stuck with the one person that's beating us up the hardest.
Yep.
It is, right?
Yeah.
And those of you that are adults that are watching, you get it. You sit there and we isolate ourselves, and it's like all of a sudden our wheels start spinning, and they're not good things. And so it's important for us to really move forward in a different way.
Right. And I'm just thinking too, like sometimes when we isolate ourselves so much, we don't feel like we have anybody that we can reach out to.
Right.
And so then that is overwhelming.
Yes.
But please know that there's a lot of humans on this planet, and there are people that love you and care about you and don't even know you exist.
That's
at
true.
all.
Very true.
There's lots of people that work here that feel absolutely 100% that way. So there's always someone that you can reach out to. There's lots of places to be able to start if that's where you need to start as far as getting in contact with humans again. If you're like, I don't really feel like I can go talk to my mom and dad about this or anything, or don't really feel like I have any friends, like there's lots of people who have your back.
Absolutely.
And we may be completely perfect strangers.
Absolutely. And that's always the thing that's hard and that's leads us to one of the other coping skills, which comes from the 4 Steps to Confidence piece, a book that we work on. And that's, we've got to start taking healthy risks. We've got to take the healthy risk. The healthy risk, we know it's a healthy risk by the results that it creates, and reaching out, exposing ourselves to other people in a healthy way where I'm communicating. And maybe it's time, to get out from behind the glass window and get involved and contact people that are professionals or experienced or know how to help, or just people that are there. It's amazing how many times you can stop and talk to somebody and they are more than willing to support you, and they could be a total stranger.
Absolutely. Or they could be someone in your math class that you're like, they might be kind of cool, but it might feel a little bit weird being like, hey, you want to hang out sometime? Take that healthy risk.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Put yourself out there. That's a good, resilient piece is healthy risk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these are some things that we can do to build resiliency in our youth and some coping skills within our youth, but also within ourselves as adults. We've got to teach these. So we've got the value-based parenting workshop tomorrow. Starting at 10, so it's not too late to register.
Mm-hmm.
Or we take walk-ins. So right here at the office, you can find our address. It's oh, good grief, I forgot our address.
Well, you can find it on our website.
There you go. Thank you.
TurningLeafWellnessCenter.com. Because I don't know the address either. I know how to get here.
Yes. So it'll be here tomorrow from 10 to 5
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow with lunch. But in that class, the point in saying that is I'm always telling parents, you can't teach what you don't know.
Yes.
And so as parents, it's easy for us to talk the talk and go, hey, you got to be more confident. Hey, you need to reach out. Hey, you need to stop and put the phone down. That's one of the comments I hear from teens all the time. My parents are telling me I'm addicted. I'm always on my phone. But when we go somewhere, they're the first ones on their phones. So parents, we also need to take a look at us and working on our stuff. So those are some wonderful things we can do.
Yeah, so if you want to come hang out with us tomorrow, just show up. We'll be here. We're going to have Twisted Noodle for lunch.
Yes.
So that's what I know.
Yes, and it's $78 a person, and then I can't remember the couple rate, but it comes with lunch, the workbook, and the information.
Mm-hmm. So just some other information right here at the very end. We have decided that our new video schedule is going to be, we're still going to do Monday Night Live. Because I can't get enough of it. And then we're going to do a video on Thursdays now instead of Friday.
So bump it up a day.
Yep. So catch us on Thursdays, but we're still sticking with Monday. So that's the new one. Also, just by way of information, we do have our next Level 1 seminar coming up in October in a few weeks. It's October 18th through the 20th.
Yes, and talk about resilience.
Right.
And coping skills. That's a great place to learn them.
I was listening to Come Alive from The Greatest Showman. So go listen to that song if you want to. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is Level 1.
Yeah.
Like everything in this song is like what I got out of Level 1. So just go listen to it.
Called Awakening. Level 1 is called Awakening. Awesome.
So thanks, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, everybody.
As always, like and share so that we can keep spreading the word,
Yes.
spread the love.
If you've enjoyed or taken anything we've shared and it's resonated, please share it and let people feel it as well.
And you're awesome. We'll see you Monday.
Have a great weekend.